Blink. All right, here we are here. And tick, 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 tick. This is YouTube, but we still don't have the Facebook. Up, Facebook is connecting. Facebook is connecting. Facebook is connecting. Come on, Facebook, let's go. Up, okie doke, here we go. Chezkas Habatim. All right, this is talking about Chezkas Gimel Shanim. This parak is going to be talking about demonstrating that something is yours. So I would like to take a step back by metaltalin, by portable objects like this toy drill. If I have it, we can assume it's mine. Even if we have witnesses that it belonged to somebody else last week, but I would say I bought it from him, I would be believed. When it comes to land, it's not that simple. I need to use the land for 3 years, and then we would believe me that it's mine. Obviously, if I have a star or something if I record that I bought it, then that would suffice. Okay, Chezgas Habatim. So getting a chazaka for a house, v'aberes, or a hole. V'ashich and v'ma'arais, other types of holes. V'ashevachais, dovecoats, v'merchatzais, bathhouses, v'esabad, and olive presses, v'esashlachen, fields that go with the agricultural cycle. They go with the rain. V'avadim, and slaves. That's interesting, because they're not considered metaltalin. V'chol davar shu aiseh piros tader, and anything which regularly gives fruits. Chezkasan shalosh shanim miyom liyom. It's 3 years, not 3. It's 3 full years, 36 months. Zok Rashi beis hashlachin mitech shemayim b'serchesh mashkois mimenu tader aiseh piros tader. Oops, awkward. I translated Beis HaShlachin as something that goes with rainwater, but that's not true. Not true. Beis HaShlachin is something which has a fountain in it that's giving it regular fruits. He has to get out of it whatever you could get out of it in 3 years. As opposed to, I said this backwards before, stay beis haba'al, a field that goes by the rainwater cycle, and therefore it cannot grow fruits all year. It's 3 years, but it's not going to be miyayim liyayim, because you can't actually do it all the time. I'm seeing I'm having some serious issues over here with dropped frames. I'm going to close this. I'm also going to close this. And this. And this. And let's see if that's any better. Okay. Doesn't look like it, but oh well. Stay base habal, Mr. Pekkas, we make a shamim. Rashi, as long as we have him. Eino is a bears elapamachas b'shana chazkasik and the ain't and you don't need to have it 3 years, 36 months, because it only makes fruits during a specific season. And Rashi says, so how do you make a chazaka on such a field? How much time do you need? Elu Yudches Chodesh. You have the second year, the middle year is 12 months, and you have 3 months before that and 3 months after that for a grand total of 18. What? What? So it's saying like he's getting everything possible to get out of that field in those 3 months. Even though it's at the end, as opposed, or at the beginning. Rabbi Akiva says you could pull it off in 14 months, as long you have 12 in the middle, and like 1 month at the beginning, the end of the first year, and 1 month at the end, the first month of the third year. Suddenly Rabbi Yishmael says something else. What are we talking about over here in general? Bistay lavan by a wheat field. Ava bistay ilan, but if it is a orchard, Kana says tivuasai, if he brings in his produce. Rashi says wine from the grapes. Umas like a zaysav, and he pressed his olives. Vikana says kayatsa, and he brought in dried figs from the summer. In 1 year, Harei Elu Gimel Shanim, that's pulling off 3 years in one wham. Like Rashi, Medvar Murim, Shach Yudches Chodesh, to stay Beisabal, Medvar Murim, Maybe Shmal Shitasai, Bistei Alava, and Shgal Beresan Lakatim Berekach, Levikach Tzarch Gimel Shanim, Bistei Elu, and Beresan Lakatim Leprakim, and Davim Berekach, Vizes Berekach, but Utin Berekach. Since the fruits have different seasons within 1 year, Kana says Tivuasa, Yain Shal Gafanim, Yain Shal Gafanim, what's like a Zayis, when it's Kayot, Tain, Liket Viyav Shanba. Was in the bias so chazaka kilo and gemoshanim. Okay. Zokt the Gemara. Amar. I'm just looking over here. Does it make any sense that we have such badly dropped frames? It looks like the frame is very, very glitchy. If anyone's watching and can let me know in the comments if it's terribly glitchy or if it's bearable, that would be very helpful. All right, weiter. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, and the Gemara Rabbi Yochanan says, Shamati, I heard Meholchei Usha, from those who walked to Usha. Mazeh Usha. So Usha is it's a place, but it's as Rashi says, Meholchei Usha Shegol. So Sanhedrin LeUsha, the Sanhedrin went through a series of exiles. Could I mean in Rosh Hashanah we say Mesachas Rosh Hashanah Eser Galu Yos Gol. So Sanhedrin Miyavne LeUsha Meusha. I think the Shvaram. So he's going from different place to different place, and so Rabbi Yochanan is saying, I heard this halacha that I'm about to say from the Holchei Usha, from that Sanhedrin that went to Usha. I wonder if this is also using up like not network bandwidth. It'll be graphics card stuff. Okay. Let's see. And it looks bad. It looks like we're very, very slow tonight. Like we're losing over half the frames here. Maybe I should be streaming at a lower resolution. Maybe that would help. Okay, weiter. They said, Minayin chazaka shehi gimel shanim. Where did this come from? This whole idea that 3 years is what establishes a chazaka. Mishar hamuad, from an ox which is which has attacked with regularity, and now we assume that it is violent. Mashar hamuad. What do we see by an ox like that? Once it has gored 3 times, nafak lei, it has emerged, it has left mechezkas tam. It has left from the chazaka of being a tam, a sweet little innocent thing. And now we assume that it is a wild one. Hachanami, here too. Kevan da achla tlashinen. Once the guy ate for 3 years, nafak lamishas meicher, it leaves the chazaka, the assumption that it belonged to the original owner who are claiming sold it. The kaimel was just like now it's in the presumptive ownership of the person who says he bought it. Correct the Gemara. If so, Mashar Amuad, Angicher Viesli Michayev. Well, Gemara Asher Amuad, it's 3 strikes, you're a Muad, but on the 3rd attack itself, the ox is still paying half damage. So, Hachanami here also, which we Achanar Viesli Kamer it shouldn't be his until the 4th year of doing it. Which the Gemara shoots back, Hachi Hashta? You want to apply that here? Hasam over there, you only pay, you pay based on what it had been before. So Mikin Nagash, but Mikin Nagash Shalesh Nigichais Havi Muad. After the 3 attacks, it's considered a muad. There's nothing to pay yet because there was no 4th attack yet. The idach kilei nagach ma'al shalim. What are you going to do? Pay the 4th guy? It didn't happen yet. The idach lemer unigich revius beinon. I mishum dilei nagach achzach ma'al shalim. Hacha came to achlat lashani. But here, after he had eaten it for 3 years, so there is something to happen. It's not like the 4th goring, which didn't happen yet. There's a constant question of ownership. And kaimala b'shu say, Frek the Gemara Nukasha Sharamuad is automatic. It becomes a Sharamuad. So Elameata. So once you're saying that, Chazaka Sheini Mataina Tavi Chazaka. So just being there for 3 years should make it his, even if he has no actual claim as to how he got there. Sheini Mataimim Farish Bimas Nisan Lekaman Amalay Mataisim Besechali Amalay Shlay Amalay Adam Davmi Adam Lay Amalay Atamachartali Tavi Chazaka Damar Shalishanim. 3 years, boink, get away from the domain of the alleged seller. So Alamatnan, why do we learn in the Mishnah? Any chazaka, the guy's been there for the requisite amount of time, but he doesn't have an actual claim of you sold it to me, is not a chazaka. To which the Gemara answers, Time of my, what's the reason that a chazaka works? And we say, Dilma Kedakamar Hashta, that maybe his claim, his current claim that he bought it is true. But Ioleta in, I think I read that wrong. Time of my, Dilma Kedakamar. Maybe it's like he said, but Hashta now, if the guy's not claiming anything, Ioleta and Anan Letoin Lay. What, we're going to say it for him? Sagt Rashi, Mishani time of my Amrin and Shalishanim, Mafkalamashas Marakama, the Amrina and Dilma, the Amar Eos, the Emil Kachte, Mimchavza Emergzal, Tia Mimani, Vain on a Yodina, MS in me, Ashakas, Shalishanim, Mukila Bashusef, Amin and Dilma Kushtu, the Kamar of a Blade, Tina Mechan Kana, Bashilachila Shalishanim, Nukasha, Maskiflar Avira, Ravira asked the Nukasha, Elameata. If it's true that we're learning out from Shara Muad, so if someone's eating a field 3 years and the original owner wants to say, hey, that's mine, he can make that protest as long as it's recorded, people saw the protest, but it doesn't have to be in front of the guy who's eating it right now. Or if Avir is asking if everything's from Shara Muad, it would need to be in front of him also. Let's see. Sharamud has to be in front of him. Here also it should need to be in front of him. No Rashi. Yes, Rashi. Machos befun of late Davi Machai im Micha Ma'ira Besech Shalishan im Tnei Edim Shai B'Tnei Machzik V'Amar Tu'usha Pleni Machzik B'Karkashli B'Gzela late Davi Machad Dim D'Shramud Shemi Edim Sheshari Nagchan V'Shai Shpa'amim Sheidu Shlei B'Fun of Inas Amur Af Asras Edu Shal Macha. Oh boy, Hatraat edut shel macha'ah. So it's not exactly edus here, but I don't know why it says hasra'as. Okay, so it's edus shel macholet avi edus. So they befun of the machadimidadahi. She asra this mashayra, a warning to guard your ox has to be done in front of him, and also it should also be when you're saying, "Hey, that's my land." And he's saying, "You're going to say that you bought it from me? Well, don't throw your star out after 3 years. I'm claiming there is no such star." To which Gemara answers, Hasav with Olav Ksev. The pasuk says that the owner specifically was warned. Hasam Rashi with Olav Amarach Monaklaimar Leidami Midgamin Shalishanim Shalish Negichais Ki Echid Hanoch Mafki Mechazaka Hanami Mafki Mechazaka Avamacha Mehaadalas on the Migma. We'll learn out the actual Chazaka, but not the Macha aspect. Tahasam came into Adal Chayve Mamain on the Gichais of Hibao. Amateur Becheskas Muabin on Bifnei Bailim, she Dulita and Lahakash Adam Laviachim Lazimon. If you're trying to say you owe money because your ox damaged, so you can't do that when he's not around, and he'll be found guilty without a chance to try to demonstrate otherwise. As opposed to by karka, by chazak of gimel shanim. What's the purpose of macha'a? It's about telling him, make sure that you keep any evidence that you have that you bought it. She said, I'm saying you stole it. So it's going to happen also if he's not around, because it's not that he needs to run to court to prove things. It's that he passively needs to hang on to the evidence, and he will hear about it because Chavra islay, Chavra islay, Chavra islay. You're literally Chavrach, your friend. Chavra islay has a friend. Chavra to Chavrach, the friend of your friend. Chavra islay has a friend. And the point is that everyone's connected within 5 whatever orders of distance. That the information will get back. You see, Zabri Rabbi Meir. What did Rabbi Meir to Amar, who says that Ashur becomes a muad if he becomes a muad in 3 different days. Kavachemer if he did 3 consecutive attacks on the same day, he's a muad. So Achla Tlasa Pei B'chad Yema Kagai into Eina Lihavi Chazaka. If he eats 3 different harvests in one day, like a fig tree where things keep getting ripe at different times, that should be a chazaka. Rabbi Meir da'amar klemer le Rabbi Yehuda da'amar b'bavakam ezem b'kosh yidu by shleisha yamim ik lemer achla gemol shana dumit gemol yamim. We could say the 3 years are standing for the 3 days because it's 3 cycles. El Rabbi Meir da'amar asam dafilu nagat gemol amim b'yemech lavi muad mikavach emer achanam yachot las peri b'chad yemek entena she'enim mispashal yachav she'enim mispashal shakash v'levi ru'uyach inami davi chazaka. So the guy, he ate some figs in the morning, but the other ones weren't ripe. And they ripened in the afternoon, he ate those. Other ones weren't ripe. Those ripened in the evening, he eats them. Does that work? No. Mishani dumi d'sharamuad. Dumi d'sharamuad. Ma sharamuad be'idna. Sharamuad be'idna d'isla ha'negicha. Lessa not lahanegicha. Chanam be'idna d'isla ha'pera. Lessa laha'pera. Sharamuad, when he does the first goring, there isn't like a baby goring that's developing in the background, as opposed to by figs, they're still there in the ones that weren't ripe yet, but they were still there. Fine, we're switching the question now. So what if it's 3 different things? Achla tlas peire. Even b'yom echad k'goin slav li'avi chazaka. Okay, what if it's a plant that makes 3 different types of fruit, like tzlaf, the caper bush, tzlaf whoosh. I did not see that coming. That's the Rach's Girsa. Okay. That's not the way we're learning right now. We're right now going to Girsa Avachla Tlasa Peri. Going a caper bush, the fruit develops rapidly because the fruit isn't a fully ripened fruit. The fruit capers are buds, and therefore over 3 days you might be able to pull off that you ate something that wasn't there the day before, or it might take 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. Like Rashi's saying it. Slav Hasam. Which the Gemara says, Hasam Peramia Iseve Umigmarhu de Kagamar ve'azil, that it's still there, even if it's not recognizable. You can barely notice it on the first day. It's not Nikar Hayim, but there still is something there, as opposed to goring. Fine, the Gemara says, Achla Tlasa Peri Betlasin Yaimi. What if you get it and you do it 3 times, then 30 days could go in aspasta, wheatgrass? Lihavi Chazaka Aspasta min zerahu le'esev behemais. Oh, is that not wheatgrass? That would be shachas. Aspasta would be something else. Alfalfa sproutsy. Min zerahu le'esev behemais. So if lamadem would nigmar, v'okenes evazar nachabim kaim evazar sheshimim. Guys, is in I say shalish pa'amim, so it's harvested with. They plant this fast-growing animal grass, and after 10 days, you can chop it down to the bottom and feed it to animals, and repeat every 10 days. So Gemara asks, that you're chopping it, feeding it. That's not. Well, let's see how Rashi explains this. The Kdiach, Godok Tzatzik goes a little bit, and he chops it. That's like prematurely thwacking it off, but that's not considered a full harvest. Fine, the Gemara says. So let it take 3 whole months. What if it's 3 fruits in 3 months? Where he actually let it do its full growth over 30 days, harvested it, fed it to animals, and planted it again. Let that be a chazaka. Okay, fine, says the Gemara. Man holchei usha. Who is this holchei usha? There Rabbi Yochanan got it from. Let's say that chazaka is learned from Sharamud. Man holchei usha damar Rabbi Yochanan the milsa mishmayu. Rabbi Yishmael. It's Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yishmael, Rashi says, they pierced the mechon. I don't know where that would come from. Elachi Gemiri Shuaya Baisezman. We learned that he was in that time. And the Gemara says, it's Rabbi Yishmael. And the Rabbi Yishmael, Hakinami. And according to Rabbi Yishmael, yeah, if you can pull off 3 different harvests, it's yours. That's not Rabbi Yishmael. What's it talking about? Stay a love on a wheat field where you need to wait 3 years for 3 harvests. Alva b'stei ilan. If it's an orchard, Kana says Tivuase brought in the grape harvest finalized as wine. The masakazesa, the olives were harvested and pressed. The Kana says Kayatsai, and the figs were laid out, dried, and brought in. And yeah, so looks like you didn't have to do that whole shebang bang because is aspasta faster? I don't know. I mean, the seasons are a little bit different for wheat, oil, and figs. Okay, but l'Rabbanan my, what are the Chachamim going to do with this? Rabbanan my, Rabbanan d'lestu hod Rabbi Yishmael minalu chazaka d'shalish shanen. Rabbanan don't hold of this din of Rabbi Yishmael about the 3 crops. That means they're not learning out from Shar Hamud. So where is chazaka of 3 years coming from? Omer Avi Yosef Kroksev. Yosef, they have a pasuk. Sadois ba'kesef yiknu. Let them buy fields. V'chasoiv ba'sefer. Write it. V'chasoim and seal it. She'arei Navi Omi be'eser u'matar lachas esrei. The Navi Yirmiyahu is in the 10th year and he's warning about the 11th year. Zok Rashi. Hachi Garci, non, Shari Novia, Investor, Mazach, Asasay Yirmiyahu, Bishon Asiris Zidkiyahu. Oh, very 3-week. Yirmiyahu is in the 10th year of Zedekiah, Tzidkiah. Hayakalo, he was imprisoned. Bachatzar Matrak, the Chsibis for Yirmiyahu, Visham Nemar, Lo Yinecha Namel Ben Shalom, V'Gaimer. This is the Haftarah of Bahar, which we actually aimed this year. Pretty uncommon. Uchsev Bayin Yana, it says over there, so those Bakasef, you can let them buy fields with money. Uchsev Bat Sefer, and write it in a book, in a scroll. What's happening? Ayamazir, he was warning. Like Chay Mazar S, like Chay Sadas, if you're buying a field, make sure you get it in writing. And to have edim that are signed on it. Because they're going to go into exile in the 11th year. They won't be there for 3 years. They won't have 3 years there. Ella, all they're going to have is Asiris Valchasesrei 10 and 11. And return from exile. If the sellers try to get it back, that you didn't have a cheskas gimel shanim on it. Bring your pull your star, it will stay in your hands. Alma bahanitar tishnen layavi chazaka mikan la chazaka she'en apchus mishal shanim. See, chazaka has got to be no less than 3 years. Amalei Abaye, fragt Abaye too. Rav Yosef, who had said this then, fragt Abaye. Maybe that's just giving him good advice. Maybe chazaka's in 1 year, and you don't need a star. Maybe just saying, you don't want to try to work out getting witnesses after coming back from exile. So have your star with you. If you don't actually say that that's the pshat, what about other psukim in Yirmiyah? Bnu batim vashevu, build houses and live there. B'nitu ganois v'chluas perion, and plant gardens to eat their fruit. My kamar, is this a halachic ramification? Ele etzevik mashmulan, it's telling them what to do. Achanami etzevik mashmulan, giving advice. Teidan, you should know this. Tachsev, it says, unsatem b'chli chares, put it in a earthenware vessel. Man yandu yomim rabim, so it would last for many days. Dilay tema hache reishalach Yirmiyah leisan shayib bavel shalolim yichanyid af shana kainim gal sidkiyo b'nu batim vashevu kilei seitzu misham am leis bavel shivim shana lamalei vaz hiram al zoitz alei tzayva hayamasi oisam achanam etzeva ba'al mahi teidad glat meyaya gali yotza meitza tzayva dik amar alunami makim ganizah shtar seyim echan hem eskayim bim yaiser. Okay. Ela Marava, rather, Rava says, so Rava is, Abaye is one who asked the Kasha. And now Rava stepping in with a new pshat in 3 years of Chazaka in the Chachamim. That's not Rabbi Yishmael. Shata Kamaisa Machel Inish. During the first year that someone's property is getting used, the guy can overlook it. Tarti Machel, also a second year already. Okay, getting annoying, but whatever. Tzlas Le Machel. After 3 years, he wouldn't actually let it slide. Period. Machil inish al peris karkoi la the ma'ichlon. He'll let him do it. Amar le Abaye. Abaye asks him, Ela me'ata, if that's true. Ki adra aret yadra levar mi pei. The guy shouldn't have to refund the fruits because we said the guy overlooked it. He forgave it. So Alam Amar Nachman ayar hadar hadra arav haji peiri. Why did Nachman say you have to give the land back also? Okay, fine. So it's not about mechila. I translated it before more like kapedim. Really, mechila means he forgives it. Elam, I said, okay, let's rephrase that. Shata kamais, the first year, like cuppet, and this person is not going to make a big deal about it. Tarti like cuppet, he also won't make such a big deal. But tlas cuppet, after 3 years, he'll make a big deal about it. Omar le Abaye, frekt Abaye. Elameata, if so, hani debate bar el yashiv to kapti afilaman to cholif mitzvah to do that they have a freak attack if someone even steps on the boundary of their field. Would that be a chazaka instantly? I mean, if you're going to say that indeed that's true, and now there's no more fixed rules. Rather, okay, we're going to have a new pshat. Let's do some Rashi / Rashbams. Yeah, the other are Labailam of Army Period, Machaleolai, Yolamam of Nachman, the Kaman Bishmaiten. Ad Khan Pirish Rashi Zatzalt. In the first Pizra Nuzach is Khan Mace Rashi Zal. This Daf Yomi share that you are watching right now, I was doing it on Erevin, and in the middle of Daf Yomi share, the computer died. It was whatever redirects power inside. And when I replaced it, I didn't plug in the graphics card correctly. It fried the graphics card. So Baruch Hashem, my old computer died b'kedusha, Yatsan Ishmasei betara, and unfortunately that share did not go on. But here we are back again, and with the Parish of the Rashbam. So we're on Chavtas Amud Aleph. Why did Rav Nachman say later on in the Sugya? Notice how Rashi said the Kaman B'Shmaitin and didn't say anything else, and maybe would have stopped there, but the Rashbam goes on and on and on. So the guy was able to prove that he had it for 2 years. The witnesses are actually hurting him now because he has evidence that he was eating it for 2 years, but no proof that it's his, so now he has to pay for it. Fine, so Rav rephrase things. It's not about mechila, it's about kapeda. He'll overlook it. So it's not a proof that he bought it, but after 3 years, we can assume he bought it because no one would overlook that. He's not going to be so mocked about the other guy doing it. He's not Michael the fruit if he can get them back. Tlas kapit. After 3 years, he would stop him. He is doing his. There's got to be a cool way to say this in English, but he's not just. He's recurring. He's doing this his sinful ways repeatedly. Because to come in without permission. If the owner's letting it slide after the 3 years, he definitely will trust the guy who is eating it when he says that he bought it. All right, what about the Beibar El Yashiv? That even if you step on the Meitzar, they will freak on you. Now we're switching things a little bit. It's not about Kapeda. It's about how. So now we're switching the focus onto the alleged buyer as opposed to the alleged seller. Shata Kamai. So the first year, Mizdar Inish Bishtari, a person will be careful with his evidence that he bought it, his shtar document. Tarti Utlas Mizdayer, second year, third year, he'll also be careful with it. Tfeile Mizdayer. More than that, So Rashi, Tfeile Mizdayer Helkach. I said Rashi, the Rashbam. And I'm in the Rashbam, Lefi the Bach right now. Hilkach, Aylabayim Rishainim Limchais, Pesach Shalishan, Pesach Shalish, Shalayachzik Bakarka, Shalayvim Lemicha Hifsid. So the owner should have said something, and if he didn't, it's his loss now. Omar Le Abaye. Well, Abaye is all over everybody over here. Omar Le Abaye. Abaye is asking on, he asked on Rav Yosef, and now he's all over Rava. That if the protest was not done in front of the guy who's going to claim that he bought it, it shouldn't count. Because he could claim, had you protested in front of me, I would have been careful with my star. To which the Gemara answers, no, same answer as before, to Amar Le, that you can do the macha ashlei b'fanav because the meicha can say Chavra islay. Your friend has a friend. V'chavra to chavra islay, and the friend of your friend has a friend, and the word would have gotten back. So you would have known to be careful about the shtar. So Rashi machas bapa. I have mizarn b'shtareis become shanim. Shani chavra islay. V'nay to lach. Shemachisi v'maisel kuch biyadech kidvarecha elchalizar b'shtarech yosim become shanim. Okay. I think we're going to stop over here. Shkoyah.